Once upon a time, there was a righteous Jew who was accused of a blood libel. He was brought to trial, and the judge sentenced him to having his nose cut off. But every time a piece of his nose was cut off, it grew back. Even when they ground his nose into powder and mixed it with water, the nose continued to grow. Desperately, they tried to mix the ground powder in with earth, but instead of disappearing, a huge tree suddenly burst out of the ground, and instead of leaves, it had money bills dangling from the treetop up in the skies. These rare bills, which were at the highest index for that day, were unreachable by any man or contraption. Surprisingly enough, a Jew was visible sitting on the treetop and was ready to drop the bills in the basket in exchange for a high commission, which rendered the deal unprofitable. If someone was willing to pay the commission, the Jew would send down a basket tied to a rope. The person of interest would put the commission in the basket and pull twice, sending the basket back up into the skies. But if someone did not pay it full, or try to outsmart the Jew, then the note would be magically reduced to a third of its value. This caused some to believe that the tree and its bills are cursed. The people came from all over the country to see the magical giant tree. The kings came, and the queens came, and the rich came, and the poor came. But everyone was required to pay the same fee, which made the poor peasants seethe. One Sunday, a little girl came to the tree. She was very poor, and she certainly could not pay the commission. She made her way, sat down by the trunk, and cried out in agony,
"Jew, my little brothers are starving, help me."
But there was no answer. She cried again.
"I don't care if they say your money is cursed. Help me."
Complete silence. Finally, exhausted from the screaming and crying, the girl gave up and fell asleep. She woke up to the touch of the basket on her head. The Jew lowered the basket with a pencil and a note that says, "Don't be sad, girl. I will help you. If you manage to answer my riddle, I will give you what you want. Just don't tell anyone." And the riddle goes,
What is long, crooked, and can reach the sky?
The girl wondered for a long time.
Of course, it's the Jewish nose.
She wrote the answer, put it in the basket, which started to rise, while the girl looked at it expectantly. Long minutes passed until the basket slowly dangled back from the tree, and to the girl's astonishment, there were no bills there but another note that said she should chip away a piece of the trunk and put it in a jug of water. The girl chipped away at the trunk and ran delighted back to her house. The next morning, the girl woke up and immediately checked the jar, and behold, it was full of rare money bills. The girl was very happy. She immediately took a handful of bills and went to buy food for her poor family. Once back in the house, the girl's parents saw all the food and questioned her until she broke, and told them about the whole ordeal with the Jew. They were proud of her for solving the riddle and buying food. On the other hand, they were very disappointed with her because everyone knows that the Jew's money is cursed. The parents demanded that the girl must return what was left of the bills to the Jew, and even packed some of the food she bought with her. As the little girl was approaching the tree, a group of peasants noticed the money and the food she was carrying, and soon an angry mob gathered around her. "Where did you get it? Is it the cursed money of the Jew? Confess, little Rube!" The girl was startled with fear and shouted,
"The money is from the trunk of the tree. The Jew told me to do it."
The crowd turned in a moment's notice and charged towards the tree. They sawed the trunk and dipped its bits in a jug of water, and bills did come out. The tree gave everyone money, and the people became rich in an instant. This immediate and unearned wealth caused them to lose their marbles. They may have become rich, but they became poor in their souls. They forgot what work is, they forgot what generosity is, and they forgot what they valued the most: friendship. In a few days, the huge trunk shrunk to a thin toothpick, the tree swaying wildly while the Jew jumped smugly from branch to branch to the applause of the crowd beneath. There were some who desperately tried to call the greedy crowd to order, but without success. Some even paid for that with their lives. Suddenly, with a huge thunderous crack, what remained of the trunk of the tree broke, and the once giant magical tree came plummeting down to the ground, taking the Jew with it. The crowd dispersed frantically, each for himself, some fleeing from the terror of the falling treetop, and some fighting for the bills scattering around. But before the last of the bills could touch the ground, the entire tree rotted with its bills, and the Jew vanished as if he was never there. The people were very sad. They lost their source of money, but most importantly, they lost their values. They began realizing that money is not everything in life. Deep down, they always knew that it is more important to be good, to be generous, and to be good friends, and keep away from the Jew and his speculative bills. On that fateful day, the people planted a new tree in place of the old tree. The new tree will grow to be bigger and stronger than the old tree. The new tree will not yield money bills on demand, but rather cultivate friendship, generosity, and kindness in the ones covering in its shade. But the Jew will always remain a Jew,